Hey guitar players, and welcome back to the Guitar in a Year Beginner to Intermediate. I'm your instructor Korey Hicks. Today we're on lesson number 16. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use a capo. So hopefully you guys have been able to get one over the last couple of weeks. Now in last week's lesson we were talking about the chords in the key of C, and as an example I was showing you John Mayer's Waiting on the World to Change. Now, if you tried playing that along with the original recording, you probably had an issue. The reason is because Waiting on the World to Change is in the key of D, not the key of C. So how are we supposed to move this to a different key without learning a whole bunch of new chords? John Mayer actually uses caged chords for this, which looks like this. Now, for somebody that's been playing the guitar for only 15 weeks, that's quite a challenge, and I wouldn't ask you to do that yet. We haven't even discussed bar chords at this point. So that's where the capo comes in. The capo is going to be kind of your best friend for playing things in other keys for a while, and it's actually really simple to use. I have a diagram that I'm putting on the screen right now that's going to show you on what fret to place the capo to take the chords that you already know in the key of C and move them to a different key. So let's try this with Waiting on the World to Change today. So I'm going to take my capo and I'm going to put it on the second fret. Now, just like any note that you want to play, you need to place the capo as close to the fret bar as you can. And now this is my new nut. And so this C chord here is now sounding like a D chord. And so now I can play Waiting on the World to Change in the key of D, the original key. So hopefully it makes sense how D is a whole step above C, so moving my capo or the nut up a whole step, which is 2 frets, is going to get all the chords from the key of D major. So if you look on the chart here, I have the C chord, which is 1 in the key of C, is now D, the 1 in the key of D. D minor is the 2 chord in the key of C, but now it's an E minor chord. E minor is the 3 chord in the key of C, but now it's F sharp minor. F was the 4 chord in the key of C, but now it's the 4 chord in the key of D, G major. The G chord in the key of C is the 5 chord, but now in the key of D it's going to be A major. A minor in the key of C is the 6 chord, but now it's a B minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because we haven't talked about the 7 chord, the diminished, very much in this course yet, I've omitted it for the purposes of this lesson. So this means that if someone tells you that Waiting on the World to Change is a 1-6-4-1 chord progression, 1, 6, 4, 1, I can just use Roman numerals to help me play this song in a different key. Maybe you're playing with a female singer and they want this in the key of E major. So, according to the chart, I would move my capo to the 4th fret. And now I can play Waiting on the World to Change in the key of E major. So according to the chart, you're going to be able to find any key you want within reason. Some of these keys are going to be too high up the neck for it to make any sense, like putting the capo at the 9th fret and then playing that C chord up here. You could do it, it's perfectly fine, but you would then get possibility of things getting out of tune. Using a capo, you have to be kind of really careful or else you are going to make things go sharp. Some guitars that maybe aren't intonated very properly are going to need to be very carefully tuned with the capo on. It's just part of the nature of using a capo. If your guitar is well intonated, it's not going to be as much of an issue. So learning how to do it yourself, or more preferably taking it to a qualified tech, would be the way to make sure that your guitar stays intonated throughout the majority of its range. Now, we've played songs in the key of G, like George Strait's The Cowboy Rides Away, or Good Riddance by Green Day. So I can use the chords from the key of G to move that as well. So now I have a diagram with this whole system based around the key of G. So if I wanted to play something in the key of A, for example, I could move my capo to the 2nd fret and play my chords in the key of G. So my G chord, it was G in the key of G, but now it's a whole step higher because I'm at the 2nd fret, so now this is an A chord. My 2 chord in the key of G is A minor, so now it's B minor. Now, of course, I have not shown you the 3 chord in the key of G yet, so we're going to leave that out. But the 4 chord in the key of G was C, which we've played like this a lot, remember? That 4 chord is now going to be a D add 9 instead of the C add 9 it was in the key of G. Our D shape is now going to be the 5 chord E major in the key of A. So you can start seeing how this can be a really wonderful tool for you to move things around. A lot of songs are not going to be in open position keys, and we need to be able to find other places to play them. So for example, if I wanted to use the G system, but I wanted something in the key of B flat major, all I would have to do is follow the chart. So here we have the 3rd fret for B flat major. Let's see how The Cowboy Rides Away would sound here. The capo is also going to make it easy for us to play melodies in other keys as well. I could take Happy Birthday, which was in the key of C originally. Using the C system at the 3rd fret, now I'm in the key of E flat major. So let's see what Happy Birthday would sound like in the key of E flat major. So whenever there's a song that you want to play and it says capo 2, capo 3, capo 4, all you have to do is put the capo in that spot and use shapes that are already familiar to you, and you're going to be able to play songs in unfamiliar keys. It's going to help you to play a wide range of new material without actually going too far away from things you already know. Now, I will say that this is kind of a band-aid for the time being. It is really important to know how to use a capo, but it's also really important to understand that this cannot be a crutch for us. Because later on, like I said, we're going to be learning all these different movable shapes, which are going to help us play over the entire range of the neck. And all that stuff is going to be coming later this summer. Go ahead and take a look at the capo chart. I want you to work through some of the songs that we've already talked about and start getting familiar playing along with them using a capo. As always, go to the description below and go over to Patreon, and for $5 a month you can gain access to the PDF, the MP3s, play-alongs, and all of that good stuff. Alright, so we're getting really close to our very next proficiency exam. So we're going to be taking a look at kind of putting all the things together that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks. And we're going to start taking a look at a brand new practicing plan as well for next week. All right, well, happy practicing, everyone. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And as always, if this is helpful for you, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. It helps bring material like this to a wider range of people. All right, have a great week. I'll see you next week in week 17. Peace.